My fourth rank 3 7-star is America Chavez, and she is a champion that I've always absolutely loved to use, but never made a crazy amount of content on. I'm not really entirely sure why. I didn't really make a showcase for her at rank 2 like I've done for a lot of my other rank 2s, but let's just say that it was all worth it because now we can lead up to this video where we showcase her at rank 3 instead. And she's just always been a fun champion to use. Her playstyle where you want to manage your 3 different dimensions and triggering them with your heavy attack chain from combo is always fun, and the spamming specials is just a really fun playstyle too when you're throwing so many SP1s and so many SP2s, just because your power gain and stuff is crazy. And she's a Mystic, so she'll have stuff like Mystic Dispersion to get even more power gains, so she's just a really fun champion to use. The stat focus I use personally is special damage. I know some people recommend critical rating, and I do think that's totally a valid argument. I just prefer special damage personally, and block penetration I think is very fair for defense because if the SP2 isn't unblockable, you're almost always forced to block it, so you will take a lot of block damage at that point. And also sometimes you want to block her SP1 when fighting Chavez to not trigger Mystic Dispersion, so I think block penetration is just always the best one to go with, maybe physical resistance, but either way, we're not here to talk about defensive stat focuses, we're here to show a bunch of Chavez on attack gameplay, and we're going to start off against Realm of Legends Winter Soldier, where we're just going to do the classic Chavez rotation, where we get our 3 dimensions, we're going to go for an SP2, and we're going to activate it with the orange dimension, throw in an extra SP1 just for some nice damage and an extra bit of power at the end. Going to throw the SP2 with a decent bit of power left over to start ramping up from my next combo to another SP1 again. And we're going to go for a relic maybe. Actually I might just skip the relic, but I'm going to block this SP2 here, and then he's going to die very shortly after. Chavez just hits so hard, especially when she crits, and this isn't even when the opponent has buffs. When the opponent has buffs, she just goes even crazier, and we're going to see a lot of that later. Especially when the victory track meta currently is one that gives them armor up buffs, which granted will increase armor rating, so sometimes it's diminishing returns, but at the same time, we're getting increased attack while they're getting increased armor rating, so. Next up, we're fighting Realm of Legends Captain Marvel, which is granted like the same thing, except this time we have class advantage, so it's a little bit different. And we're going to do the same exact ramp cycle. Gonna go purple, gonna go orange, then we're gonna go blue, which if you want to know the actual terms, negative zone, utopian parallel, dark dimension, in that order. And then we're gonna go for another utopian parallel with the SP2 here. In the earlier fight, I did throw an SP1 first, before I went for that last SP2, an SP1 with utopian parallel, like again. But you don't have to do that, especially when you're doing so much damage with that SP2 just like that. So we're going to go for another SP1. We get a nice 14k crit, and then a non-crit at the end still does nice damage, and then a 26k heavy crit, and then, yes, another 28k heavy crit, and then she's dead. So that's Realm of Legends Captain Marvel in a little under 50 seconds. So that was like a really nice fight even without the buffs and stuff, but here we're going to start off against some buffs and against the biggest, baddest defender in MCoC right now, which is Serpent. And I've done this fight like even faster than I'm going to do here. At rank 2, for some reason I did this fight faster. I really think it is a lot of the armor rating stuff, but I have the rank 2 fight in another video, and I didn't want to include anything that wasn't rank 3 in this one. So if you want to see this fight even faster, then you can go there. At least I'm like 90% sure it was even faster. It was a while ago, so I don't entirely remember, but still. I feel like, let's see, he's at like 23% now, and we are only like 40 seconds in. So I'd expect him to go down faster than he actually is. It's unfortunate, but either way, we're going to push him into his death immunity phase really soon. We're not getting a lot of crits, but then we get one right there to push him into his death immunity phase. We throw the SP2, which is going to do basically no damage, but keeps his healing down a little bit, and just kill him with a medium right after. So 69-second Serpent fight, which is definitely pretty nice because of how tanky Serpent is. She is legitimately one of the best Serpent counters in the game. So next up, we're going to fight Future Ant-Man. This is a matchup that I absolutely love taking, just because he gains armor ups, and Chavez likes when they gain buffs. So this is in the circuit meta, so we start with an unblockable at the start of the fight, which is cool. But we're gonna go, we get another unblockable, that's crazy. And we go for an SP1 here. The damage is just so nice when we're getting this many special attacks, and we even rolled a Fury there, which is funny. But we're gonna go for an SP2. He has an armor up, I don't even care, we're just gonna drop it anyway, and it wipes him out. We got some nice crits on the special attack, and then we have a 39-second Chavez versus Van Man fight, which is very nice. So, if you're pushing in the circuit meta like I am right now, Chavez might be one of your best attackers to go for. Next up, we're going to fight MCoC, and Chavez kind of shuts down MCoC pretty well because you're going to control his ability power rate with your negative zones pretty nicely, and also Rich Get Richer from the node this month. So, we're going to go for a normal Chavez rotation here. We're going to go for another SP1, then I go for another SP1. If I don't do a Relic, which I might do a Relic actually, we go for the Relic, which is probably the better play anyway. So next up, we're going to throw the SP2, and it's just going to wipe them out. So there we go, just like that. Another 39-second fight, I believe, this time against MCoC. So we were punching down a bit in that fight, but how many 7-star rank 3 MCoCs do you expect me to find out there? I did my best. Next up, we're going to fight Maestro. This is also a rank 2, and this is another fight where I'm like, I feel like I've done this way faster in the past. I don't know if it's just the armor ups or something, but either way, this one definitely goes faster. Some other time I've taken it, I feel like. Either way, it's still going to go pretty nicely, just not as fast or cleanly. There I just couldn't dex for some reason, but it's alright. He has a bunch of armor ups now. We reversed the potency a little bit, but not enough to actually make a huge difference. Anyway, we go for another heavy attack. I'm going to go for the SP2 with a Utopian Parallel, and we get no crits, which is probably part of why this fight felt so long, because we got really bad crit RNG. And obviously I can't crit at all when he has the glancing on my basics, so I kind of just have to only get crits from special attacks, but that's okay. We're just moving right along, trying to get to our SP2 again, if we don't kill him before that, but we probably won't. So we're going to go for an SP2 right after he throws another SP1, and then we're going to drop it. He is in his superior rage phase, but it doesn't matter because he's dead. So like an 80-second fight, I think, and I think like the next couple fights, or next few fights, were recorded during the new patch where all of the loading times are inflated. So take like every fight here, but like subtract 6 or 7 seconds because the load times are ridiculous for some reason in this update. So next up, we're going to fight Destroyer, and Destroyer is just really easily countered by Chavez because his big threat is his power gain that's going to push him to an unblockable SP2. And guess who reverses power gain? I'm pretty sure after this fight I just said, nice power gain you have there. Would be a shame if something happened to it when I start reversing his power gain, because these were friendly matches, so I was talking with a friend of mine. But anyway, we dex the SP1, which is going to reduce his charge gain a little bit because he won't gain charges on the SP1 if you dex the hit that he would gain them from, which is hard to do for sure, and I don't know all the practice for, but anyway, it's still going to go pretty nicely. We go for another negative zone here, and now he's going to be in the power gain phase, and now we're going to reverse the power, or we could just kill him like that, so that works too. He's dead in like 50 seconds, which is definitely pretty nice. Next up, we're going to fight a Bullseye, and this isn't something I'd necessarily recommend, because she doesn't really have any ways of countering Bullseye. She just has a lot of damage, especially when you have the armor ups, which are very helpful, when you crit especially, but you also have healing on the SP2, but I don't even use the SP2 in this fight. I did something differently, which I don't really know if was better or worse, but you're going to see some really funny things that we do in this fight where we literally just spam SP1s. I'm going to go for another heavy attack there. We're going to power gain again. We're going to get a nice crit, and we're going to power gain again. He dexes me, that's okay. Gonna go for another SP1. That's okay. And then we get a crit at the end and he's dead. That was one of the silliest things I've ever done. So don't expect a bullseye fight to ever look that good with Chavez, but it can work, I guess. So that's cool. Next up is a rank 3 Werewolf by Night. And Werewolf is an interesting defender. He's definitely harder when duped, because there's a lot more you have to manage, but Chavez also just does a pretty good job at countering him because you don't have to worry about his Howl power gain. Slow that load time, man. You don't have to worry about his Howl power gain, and that's pretty much all that makes an unduped Werewolf difficult, except for the fact that he's a very big health pool, so killing him pretty fast is definitely nice, because of how beefy his health pool is. But either way, I did not mean to block either of those 2 hits, but that's okay, because we're giving him more armors, which is going to make our attack go up, so that's awesome. Anyway, we're going to go for another SP1, and then an SP2 pretty soon after that. He throws his SP1, we dex it, and then we're going to go for an SP2, and he is going to not die, but come close to it. I'm going to get a nice intercept there, and then we kill him off of basics. And that's a rank 3 Werewolf in 52 seconds. So, next up, we're going to be fighting, what are we fighting next? This is a Warlock, okay. This is another matchup that I wouldn't say Chavez is the best for, but she also just kind of works for. Holy crap, can we get in the frickin' fight, man? Like, how long is this going to take? Okay, I lost, like, at least 10 seconds there. Anyway, we're going to do normal Chavez things. This is an unduped Warlock, so I'm not going to take any degen damage, but still, she does decently for Warlock. I wouldn't say it's great, and I'm actually going to eat an SP3 in this fight just because I screwed up, but don't eat SP3s and then you'll be alright. The annoying thing about Warlock in this fight is he is going to make it to where you can't ever crit him on a special attack, because if he has an armor up, then he can't be crit on specials. It's really frustrating, and it's gonna make it to where I thought this SP2 I'm throwing here was actually gonna do more damage than it did, and he throws an SP3. So that's not good, but we're not gonna take too much damage from it. We're gonna lose like 30% or so. And then we're going to take more damage from the power drain or burn or whatever afterwards. Yeah, power burn. So yeah, that wasn't the greatest score at all, but it's an option, I suppose. Next up, we're going to be fighting Onslaught, and I feel like everyone's Chavez versus Onslaught goes way better than mine, because I swear I do this matchup all the time, and I just see so many screenshots of everyone else's Chavez doing better than my Chavez does. I don't know if I'm just unlucky with the crits, and I really think that's probably it. I'm just not lucky with the crits on the SP2. But anyway, we're gonna take this fight pretty normally for Onslaught. We're just gonna dex his SP1s and then throw an SP2 when we feel comfortable with it. And he has his crush charge, but that's alright. I know the SP1 dex very well. It's the SP2 that I struggle with just because I'm bad at invert controls. Anyway, we have him under control. We just need him to keep throwing specials, which he throws them at inopportune times sometimes, but he's being very cooperative now. I did not mean to block that. That was supposed to be a dex. I don't know why I blocked it. I don't know if it was a misinput or something, but that means I got the Daunted on me, which means I'm not going to have any more willpower, which sucks because I knew not to block that, but whatever. We throw an SP2 here. I actually did get a crit. So it didn't look too bad. I'm trying to bait his SP2. I remember him just not wanting to throw it, which is awesome. He didn't take too long, I guess. I get some nice dexes, and then I just forget that I'm supposed to dash forward after the last hit instead of backward, because the delirium goes away like instantly. Either way, he throws an SP1 there when I didn't want him to, but it's okay. We're gonna kill him with a couple basics right after. So very clean fight. It just wasn't as fast as I've seen Chavez do before, so it definitely can be way faster. Next up is Weapon X, and I don't know if I necessarily recommend this matchup either, but it also just kind of works. I do make a dumb mistake in this fight that could have cost me like a death, but he didn't punish me for it, and I will call that out when it happens. It's just a lack of knowledge basically happened, but we're gonna get to that. So I'm going to ramp up Chavez the normal way. We're going to go for an SP2 right here, and he's going to go into Berserk right after I bait his SP1 real fast. He's going to regen a lot because he does that, and he's very good at regenning a lot. I'm going to go for a Relic here just to make an opening. Going to go for an SP1, but there's the mistake. I forgot that he's stun immune in Berserk Rage, so I could have gotten absolutely annihilated there, but luckily I didn't. So now we're waiting for the Berserk Rage to fall off. I'm trying to get him to block, but that's not going to work because he has aggressive AI. So we dex the heavy attack, go for my own heavy attack, and then I'm going to go for an SP1, or SP2, I'm sorry, with the Utopian Parallel, and it does no crits, because why would it when I'm playing Chavez? But we're going to just kill him with basics at this point, and it doesn't take too much longer, so 62-second Weapon X fight is not too shabby. So that's the last of my Battlegrounds fights. Next up, we're going to do a couple fights just from the Alliance War Showcase. And this first one's going to be against the CGR, and this one was weird. I went to a Special 3 when I didn't actually want to, but that's okay. She does a really good job for this fight. You just have to know what you're doing. I'm trying to keep the fatigues off of me because I do want crits when I can. And we're going to have to do a thing where we make sure CGR only throws one type of special attack and never throws a heavy attack, because if he throws a heavy attack, he's going to trigger his 5th Judgment, and then we're going to take a bunch of degen damage, which is bad. So we also have to deal with Ex Magicka, of course. There I should have just dropped the SP2. I don't know why I didn't. I guess I didn't recognize my power bar because of Mystic Dispersion or something. It just makes the fight a little longer. It wasn't really bad or anything. But I need him to throw an SP1 because I can't let him throw an SP2, or else I will take degen when he triggers the Precision. He doesn't feel like throwing it. I'm triggering Indestructibles, and there for some reason I couldn't parry. But either way, we're still pretty healthy. We just don't really have any willpower, which is annoying. And I'm gonna go for some parries there. And he does a lot of damage through my block, but that's okay. He just hits really hard on this node, because, I don't know, it's a really good placement. So we throw the SP2. I did the Dark Dimension, which I knew wasn't going to heal me, but it was the dimension I was missing, so I got to take advantage of her Sig ability. And just, you know, she still gets extra attack, you know. Anyway, we're going to go for Chavez versus this Arcus here next. And this is another Ex Magicka fight, so we are going to have to worry about parrying and things. But it still is pretty easy. We're going to go for some heavy attacks to trigger negative zones to prevent the power gain. We are going to get cold snapped a little bit, but my energy resist is just going to go up the more buffs and the more unique dimensions I have. So that's going to mitigate the damage a lot once I get a lot of them up. And we just have to worry a little bit about Ex Magicka Indestructibles, and then we're kind of chilling. We have a bunch of negative zones. The power gain is definitely not a problem. The cold snap is less of a problem now. It still does hurt, but it's okay. I think I'm going to go for a regen SP2, which is definitely going to be nice to heal me back a little bit of that cold snap damage. And it almost kills him. It's going to right there. A lot of the regen was mitigated because these defenders do have Despair. So we should have healed like 50% more almost, but still, really good time. And next up, we're going to fight Guantlet Terrax. And this is a interesting fight for Chavez. Another really good showcase of her energy resist, because if you didn't know, Terrax's rock field is all energy damage. For some reason, like, if it makes sense for me for rocks to be physical, but I'm not going to argue. Anyway, we go for an SP1 here. We are unfortunately getting closer to him when we throw that SP1. So we are going to take Rock Field, but I'm going to wait for it to fall off at this point and go for an SP1 again. And then I'm going to go for another SP2, probably in the regen mode, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we do that. We're going to get some nice healing back, push me all the way back to 93. And at this point, it's just kind of repeating that cycle. We want to keep all of our dimensions up, just because that's more energy resist on us. He doesn't really have any buffs in this fight that don't go away like immediately, so we're not doing any extra damage from that regard, but that's still okay. We are stacking a bunch of negative zones to reverse the power from afar power gain, which is going to make him lose power a lot faster when he's far away from us and in rock field, and also just to prevent him from going red when we don't want him to. So anyway, I'm gonna go for another heavy attack here, couple more probably, and then I remember the next SP2 hitting very hard or something, so we go for a power gain with the SP1. Might do that one more time. Yeah, we're gonna go for another heavy attack actually, and then another SP2 with the regen, and we get a nice 71k crit at the end of that attack. And then I just go for the kill, I think, with basic attacks. Nice crit on the relic there, and then we kill him right here with this next heavy. So 73% finish is really good for this fight, honestly, with how much damage he just chips you with. So, alright, the last two fights of this are going to be endgame content. I think they're the last two, at least. And I know we've got a lot of video left, but this first one's going to be against Labyrinth Legends Old Man Logan, which is just a Labyrinth fight that has a lot of buffs, so it's really fun. And then the fight after that is going to be Necropolis Odin, which I don't solo, but I bring him almost all the way down, and I could have soloed if I just played better. So I didn't feel like repeating it, but I definitely could solo the fight on another attempt, on another day, because she definitely can solo that fight, based off of how I did it the first time. We throw an SP2, don't get any crits because we're unlucky. Gonna go for another SP2, except there, my finger didn't charge heavy or something. I don't know why I didn't charge heavy, I just kind of stood there. I know in my mind I was trying to charge heavy, but whatever. We'd use MD to get a bunch of power back. We go for another SP2, it's gonna do quite nice damage. We get a damage cap crit at the end of that attack. I'm also reversing his Furies and Cruelty potency with my Utopian Parallels, and we're gonna see more of that later, where I literally reverse it so much that I do not take damage. It's a really funny thing you can do with Chavez. I've done it in some other nodes before, where if they gain Furies and you stack enough Utopian Parallels, you literally just reverse them and take no damage. Because each one reduces Fury, Cruelty, Armor Up, Precision, and Pierce, I believe, by 70%. And here I'm going for the SP2. It's unblockable, which is awesome. And we're going to go for a nice heavy attack into a special 3. And that's going to do some nice damage on the SP3. But it's also going to give us a lot more dimensions. We're going to reverse some more Fury and Cruelty potency afterwards. We're going to get some really nice crits on our basic attacks, and we're just having a really nice time all together. So we bait his SP1, and we go for another power gain here. We're going to go for another heavy attack dimension probably. And there I show you how I'm taking no damage because I reversed his thing so much. And then I realized, oh wait, I'm getting stunned. That's not good. So we're going to throw a special 2 here. It does a lot of damage. I throw that again. I thought it would hit him. He didn't go for it. That's okay. We're trying to bait his S special 2. I somehow don't dash back. And somehow I don't dash back again because the inputs just weren't working, I guess. So that's awesome. We eat an SP3. And then we just can't dash back for a third time. I don't even know, man. That's cool. It doesn't matter. It's a fight that doesn't matter. It's Labyrinth of Legends. So the last fight is going to be Necropolis Odin. Basically, the way you want to do this fight is just keep Odin at 6 buffs. So we eat a heavy attack to give him a energize. We don't take damage from his heavy attack, which is cool because of the boon. So that's awesome. We are going to be inverted a lot in this fight. And I'm going to mess up the most in the beginning. Because I'm pretty sure I throw a couple SP3s that I didn't really want to throw. But at this point, we have all the ways we need to do damage because he has all of his buffs and stuff. And when we crit, it feels really good. When we don't, it's not the best just because his armor up is very tanky and I can't really reverse it when it never goes away. So that's annoying, but it's all good. Here I'm trying to eat a heavy. and then we trigger another buff of his, so that's cool. And there, I just messed up, but that's okay, because Chavez is going to regen a lot in this fight. We're going to go for a heavy attack into an SP2. We regen all the way back to 75, which is cool, and we're going to keep countering his special ones and stuff. I need to push him to an SP2, ideally when he has 2 Odin Force, and then that's going to refresh his buffs. But he doesn't throw it, so he loses them anyway, so that's cool. It just means we have to push him to another SP1, and knock him down twice before that. So, anyway, yeah, we're just waiting at this point to try to knock him down twice. We knock him down once there, and get a reparry, and then now I need him to throw his special one here, and he does, so he gains a buff. Anyway, this is kind of just how the fight goes. We keep doing well until we get in the rooted phase, and then we just have to be a lot more careful on our dexes. There, I forgot about invert controls because I'm bad, but you can see we're at like 46% health, and we're just going to regen so much to be able to stay topped off in this fight to where we can bring them all the way down to 6% is where I'm going to die. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking until we get like to his very low health, and I'll see you then.
Alright, I'm back now, and he's at 9%, and we just did a lot of damage on the SP2. We're close to the phase where he's going to start going unblockable, and that's where I'm like, okay, I'm probably dead. Maybe I can somehow make it, which would be cool, because I didn't expect to solo this fight when I was actually doing it, so that would be kind of awesome. I'm doing pretty nice with my dexes. I need him to throw it. He does. We also have negative zones to keep power gain in check, which is cool. I need him to throw it again. He does, except I get clipped on a dash back and the dream is over. So really close, definitely could have finished him off if I just played better. And you saw that wasn't like a really fast fight, but when you're doing Necropolis, you're probably running boosts and stuff, so it kind of evens out. And also Chavez isn't like the most endgame design champ, she's just kind of good for it sometimes. So I've taken her on basically all of my runs just because she has the Kate synergy, but she also takes a good amount of fights on her own, like the Gallon fight and a couple other ones I don't remember. Airwalker's another good one. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit the like, sub button. I'll be working on more showcase videos in the next couple of weeks because they've kind of disappeared, and I do think you guys like making them. If you actually do tell me about it because it makes me feel good. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.